Well, I'm excited to talk to you about Riff Raff because I really enjoyed this movie. I mean,
Cool.
first of all, you look at the cast and you're like, well, this is going to be a great movie. And then it
Yeah.
really is.
Thank
But for you, what was it like bringing this cast together? I mean, it is all star after all star after all star here.
it's kind of bananas, you know. I mean, it's hard to explain. I mean, I'm sure everybody has the same feeling about a lot of this cast. They're kind of like people everyone grew up with,
Mm-hmm.
loving. I certainly did, So, I mean, you don't usually get your first hope for each role. It's not like that 99 out of 100 million times. This was kind of that situation, in the best of ways. So, yeah, I don't really have the words other than it's exciting, and every bit of it was a really fun trip, to be a part of.
It really is, feels like every character was written for that actor. Do you know what I mean? Like they step into the role so perfectly.
Yeah, yeah, it was nice. Yeah, and it's funny because of course I'm remarkably excited to work with guys like Bill Murray and Pete Davidson
Yeah.
and Ed Harris. I mean, Jennifer Coolidge, Gabrielle Union, pretty fun stuff. But then people I didn't know, like Miles Harvey, who plays DJ. When I first read that role, I said, okay, this is a disaster, or it's really good, or it's Urkel. Like, I don't know who's going to pull this off because I had to Google half the things he's saying. And Miles Harvey walks in one day to an open, call, and I'm like, oh my God, DJ just walked in, And I'm just as excited to meet Miles Harvey as the other guys, but without having known him,
Yeah.
Lewis, yeah, a lot of
I,
fun.
yeah, Lewis Pope. Like it's like the more you think about, everybody is so good at this.
Yeah, they're good actors, all of them. Yeah, a nice problem to have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Miles is so great. I was saying like he really brings the like heart and emotion to the story
Yeah.
in such a great way because you have the like the crazy stuff going on and you have like you have people that are great at comedic timing like Jennifer Coolidge and Pete Davidson who just excel there, Bill Murray, but then you have Miles who he steps in and DJ really does feel like the heart and soul of this. Did you feel that way?
I did, I always thought he's the only guy asking questions that doesn't know the answers to them, in this movie. And I was so concerned. I mean, when I first read it, it was originally a play written by John Polano, and I remember thinking like, feels like Virginia Woolf, but everybody's Virginia Woolf. And I kept thinking, okay, it's about DJ for me, and then Ruth, like who are these two people? And they seemed really complicated because it's really tough to find people that can pull those roles off. So I couldn't have asked for two better. How corny for a director to say that. It sounds like I'm just being that freaking guy that I can't stand. But it was one of those times that I really do mean it. Yeah.
I mean, when you watch the movie, you can tell that like everybody just vibes well together too. They work extremely well together. They clearly all brought their A game. But was there one scene in particular you felt like was maybe the most challenging to nail down?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's nuts to put that many sort of personalities and into one room, which was, this whole thing sort of originally took place in a room because it was a play. And we brought it out of the room with dreams and all kinds of weirdness. But to be in a room with all of them, it was pretty tricky. Not tricky, but like, intimidating, I guess, because you're kind of like everywhere you look, you're like, oh my gosh, okay, got to get over this. I'm that guy that like if I meet Al Pacino, I kind of feel like I have to tell him he's Al, like, oh my God, you're Al Pacino. Like he doesn't know this, I'm still a fan. So I was feeling that, but at the same time, it was tricky in the best of ways because I don't think no one showed up here to get paid or else to the wrong address. And these are great actors as well as celebrities or whatever that business is. And myself included, you tend to forget that they're also great actors and they want to do something that they feel maybe proud of or something.
Mhm.
I mean, clearly they've got enough to be proud of. They don't need my little movie, but.
No.
But that was intimidating in the sense that you're like, oh wow, you're gonna say this. Okay, cool. So it was that. I mean, being in the room with all of them together was probably the most fun, I guess, and intimidating at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, they're all so incredible. Was there any like improvising? Because I mean, you look at like Bill Murray and Pete Davidson, and I feel like they can just spew the most random thing and make it hilarious, you know?
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, in the movie, it's almost all written, and
Really?
to that credit, but the outtakes, I mean, I could live on them for the rest of my life. Because, I mean, and I remember just like going through them, and it was just like, like, because when you're filming, like I tend to think, at least in my head, like the family, like I don't think they don't think this is funny, so I don't think it's funny in the moment, so I'm stuck in their head, and then when I go back, I'm like, wow, I can't believe the things they were saying. So they were playing a bit, of course, because I don't put marks down for actors. I'm like, if you walk away, I got a microphone on you, I can hear you.
Yeah.
But they were playing a little bit, but strangely, it's more written than it may seem, which is to their credit, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think we'll ever see those? Will there be like a fun outtakes or
I'm so bad about that because I'm so obsessed with finishing the movie and getting it right that I don't, have those blooper reels or goof reels. But although I love them when I see them from other movies, so I always think, gosh, I should have. So, well, if anybody ever digs in, they will not have a shortage of them. I promise you that.
That's a good way to promote. Get a little clip to put on Instagram or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. There's a lot. I can tell you.
I mean, I had so much fun with this, but I like that it is like we said, it's about a family, right? But a crazy family. Everyone has their own family drama, and I like that this is taking family drama and raising the bar a little bit. Not everyone has gangsters after them in their
Yeah,
family.
you hope they
Uh,
don't blow each other's heads off. Yeah, it'd be nice.
yeah. So can you talk about including like that family aspect though, and the importance of having that at the core of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, again, like I read it as if I'm in the family, and mess with the script as if I'm a part of it. I trust that when you have these actors and the situations are pretty odd, it's kind of, hopefully it'll be funny. I don't think about that stuff as much. Maybe I should, I could make more money making a big giant comedy, but I just think of the reality of the situation as much as this is heightened and insane. But yeah, when I first was thinking about Ruth, something that wasn't in the script was I had this weird thought, thinking of my sister Dee Dee, because she's like kind of, if you could mix Ruth and Fran Lebowitz together, you'd be with my sister Dee Dee, which is insane. But I thought about this scene and I thought, okay, this is going to be good, at least for me to understand the film. I wanted Ruth to go into Sandy's room at some point, Gabrielle Union's character, and look at all the things she can't have.
Mhm.
Because I thought that would help, if nothing else, whether it's an outtake that never exists. For me, maybe the actor, character, whatever, to understand that it's more than just that. And
Mhm.
so we ended up using it in the movie, which is great because we had 15 minutes before lunch one day, and we said, hey, let's see Jennifer Coolidge, go have a look at, her fancy makeup. And I love that scene for that because again, I just liked it, the idea of it, whether it made it or not, and it made it. So
Yeah,
nice.
no, I love that scene. That's crazy that that wasn't even included in
Yeah,
the
that
original
that's the
script.
family dynamic in a way, like, there's always there's always there's always something going on.
And now I am going to hold this till after people get to see it so that we can talk about it. But when
Yeah.
you have the twist there and you realize like exactly why the gangsters are coming after him, I thought for sure it was like because of Ed Harris, right? I'm like, obviously he did something. But when you find out Rocco killed Bill
Yeah.
Murray's son, and then that it's because he was dating the girl, like it's crazy and messy, but in such a fun way. What were you most excited to explore with that dynamic?
Well, I always love a good fight scene, especially when you could hit someone with something. Originally we were like thinking, like we're in the restaurant and we're thinking, okay, it was written to be like a bottle of champagne or something. And I'm thinking, oh boy, that's just going to be nuts. And then Cassandra, our great production designer, was like, what about if it's a giant salt and pepper thing? And I'm thinking, I don't know, that might be like too comedic. And the restaurant we were looking in had some weird sort of wine cooler. And I thought, okay, that's handy, Uh, so I thought, okay, we could do that. But yeah, I mean, I always get excited about dumb things like that because I think it was a fun twist for the film to take a different thing, but also a fun film fun bit to see film.
Yeah. Well, of course, yeah. It's funny because, like I said, I was watching it and I'm like, okay, well, obviously he's after them for something Ed Harris did in the past. Like, you feel like it's going to be predictable and then it's not. And I love when a movie will surprise me like that. So,
Yeah.
what are you most excited? What do you think out of the whole movie you think is going to excite or surprise fans the most?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, if anyone is surprised that these are great actors, I would be shocked.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
so yeah, so maybe it's the people they don't know. Maybe it's Miles Harvey. Maybe it's Lewis Pullman, who's suddenly becoming a known guy. Because I didn't know who he was until 2 weeks before filming, and I said, "Oh yeah, this is the guy." And Emanuela Posticini, maybe that maybe and of course. It's nice. I'm friends with PJ Byrne, who does these. I call him up and I'm like, "Hey, PJ, I got this scene. You got to play this neighbor that's driving people insane." And unfortunately, we have no money, so you got to fly yourself in to New Jersey. But it's with Bill Murray and Pete Davidson, and he said, "I'm in." And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that along with all the other stuff, that's a pleasant surprise. Maybe some actors you may not know.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Is yeah, there's tons of actors but then there's it's like a fair balance of ones you don't know, and so you feel like you're discovering stuff along the way, which I really enjoyed. I gotta say, I really had fun with this movie, and so far reviews are pretty good. How does that feel?
I try not to look at it. My other friend,
Yeah.
Ray Liotta, he said it's like taking a shot of poison and you wonder why your stomach hurts. So I try not to look at it, but I'm very happy that people are liking it. And yeah, I mean, you make it so people will like it, and or at least I make it so I like it, and then I'm like, at least I can defend it then. So
Exactly.
I'm here to defend it if you didn't, but if
Right.
if you do, I'm happy to hear that. Yeah.
Right. No, I love that. How long did this take to film?
It was quick. It was, 21 days.
Wow,
We
21
got hit with
days.
COVID. So that cost us to get that extra, the madness of film these days. But we got, it was, again, you got a script that's working, and you got not an insane, no cars are flipping, uh, 5 times, those kind of stuff. But, some blood resets clearly. But yeah, but it's pretty quick, pretty quick in that sense.
Yeah, I do love that. Yeah, exactly like you just said. There's not like big action sequences,
Yeah.
but there is like some blood and gore,
Definitely some blood, yeah.
which is fun. And
Yeah.
I've got to say, the end, I'm sure it was always like that, but was it always that Ed Harris survives? Is that how, or did you ever to think you were going to have him actually die?
Oh, I thought about getting rid of it because I thought, okay, when we have the other scene with holding the gun, and I thought, oh, that's a great ending. And I was worried about the last scene. I'm like, it's so weird. Is it like a Twilight Zone? You know what? But then again, if you could do a slow push in on Ed Harris at the end of your movie, we should all be so worried about that. So
Exactly.
I take the chance with that any day.
No, he's great. Everyone is great. Like I said, I really had fun with this movie. I really enjoyed it. I think everyone's fantastic, and just congratulations and thank you for taking the time to talk today.
Of course. Thanks so much. Yeah, I enjoyed making it. That's for sure.
I can't wait.